woman, join us there. So this song is called Cellular Upgrade. Are you listening to things like this? Cellular upgrade, baby. That's what we're talking about today. I welcome peace. I welcome unity. I welcome love. Alignment with the highest frequency. Okay. So I'm not going to take that much time for that to populate. I want to just come right on in. You touching and agreeing? I'm with you. Thank you for touching and agreeing. Higher than I ever been. I look within. Okay. Because I'll go in on the music. You all know that I will. I just want to come in today really quickly from Happy Pocket Full of Money. That is where we're coming from today. Happy Pocket Full of Money. And the title of this is Happy Pocket Full of Money or Mess. Happy Pocket Full of Money or Happy Pocket Full of Mess. Okay? Happy Pocket Full of Money or Happy Pocket Full of Mess. And so I've done my introduction to you. And for those of you who don't know me, you can always connect and learn more about me at LaTonyaTaylor.com. But let's talk about this. There's a lot of fronting, flossing, and foolishness in these internet streets, right? It is noisy out here. Okay. And our mental health cannot be strong when our mental wealth is low. And so I don't even want to go into my ish. I want to just come right from the material for our group. I'm sharing a little bit about it. The book is Happy Pocket Full of Money. And the first thing that he says is that money is not, explains that wealth is not just about having buckets of cash, but rather understanding the value within. So all you bag chasers, I'm securing the bag. Go get the money. Go get the money. Hey, go get the money. Go. It sounds good. But when you all come to me, you're burnt out. Your house is in chaos. Your marriage is on its last legs, or you cannot attract a mate or keep a mate because of this whole mentality that we think that, there are new millionaires right now. And I coach a lot of them. I give thanks for that. New millionaires who are trying to figure it out because we have had a model of success through what we can see from everybody else. But I guarantee you, one of the things, the first principles that we're going to talk about is that real money is not loud. Real money is not loud. So all these reels, everybody doing the same thing. Everybody's out here just duplicating what they saw what got somebody else to the bag. And so you're really so busy in their bag that you can't even get in your own bag. And some of us need to lay the bags down. So he talks about the flow of wealth consciousness that incorporates gratitude and belief in abundance. Those of you who are word people, you know that the word says, I believe, help my unbelief. But many of us, we think that just because I was able to do it this way, hustling. But what happens when your hustle runs out? Okay. And so now what happens when you get a pink slip from your job? I've been heavy on the employee mindset, talking to those of you who have an employee mindset. But just because you open up a business does not mean you don't still have an employee mindset, because the next phase out of employee mindset often is self-employed. And so it's not that different. So if you don't know how to be to manage yourself, manage systems, ask for help, receive feedback, you will take the same habits as an employee who is used to being told what to do, who oftentimes works just to be able to get from one check to the next, barely doing, because you're not living or walking in your purpose. And so in this season, the real virus in this season is the virus of the mind. the virus of the mind. And the other virus is exposing the virus of our mindset. And so therefore, I want to ask you a question. Do you have time to be worried about somebody else's medical records unless you own a business? And even business owners who are feeling pressure and making decisions, it's forcing many of us to choose, to make some serious choices about our future, about our livelihood. Many of us are having to make choices, and it's not new. This is not the first time, particularly melanated people have been here in this space, in this awareness. This is not the first time. This is in our DNA to be able to prevail in hard times. So when you are being bombarded and left and right with messages left and right, Sarah, in fact, I'm going to post your message today. What's up, sis? I'm going to post your message today after I finish this live because it was so powerful. And so I definitely am going to because it was what you said. In fact, if I could bring you on, if you know how to come on Instagram, you can say the quote yourself and what motivated you to say that particular quote. So let's keep going. I probably should go on and drop a little Facebook love in here. Nope, not that. Okay, I'm going to drop a little Facebook love in here. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta hit all levels. So let me continue. Okay. So when we're talking about wealth consciousness, right? Many people who are starting businesses, who are posting on Instagram, who are duplicating or looking at everybody else, comparing themselves to other people. Guess what? It's doing nothing but stressing you out. It's doing nothing but creating burnout. And even if you were to hit it one time, can you duplicate it over and over and over again? But one thing for certain and two things for true, no matter what happens on this platform of the world, your livelihood and your employment, we know that we're talking about currency. So if you look at the words of money, money is a current. It's an energy. And you are the first energetic being. So if there's a virus of the mind, how can you have a happy pocket full of money? Because the first thing that's going to drive your decisions oftentimes is what if? I'm going to turn the light a little bit. Well, what if I have to get another job? What if I have to do this? That's because we never believed in the prosperity of purpose. Somebody put that in the comments. The prosperity of purpose. I want somebody. That's a new thing. I'm gonna come back next week and build on the prosperity of purpose. But I'm gonna stay on task right now. Many of us don't believe in the prosperity of purpose, and that creates a virus of the mind. So we agree that money is energy. So when we're looking, it grieves my spirit sometimes when I see people who have come to me, and I know what the appearance is on these social media platforms. But when you come to me and your children don't see you, okay, thank you for putting that in the comments. When you come to me and your children don't see you, your husband or your partner, you all are not in alignment. What happens when you are hustling out here in these streets and you are successful in the streets, but you go home and you're all alone? You don't have anybody to lay your head down with, or to quarantine with, or to be in shutdown with. And the one that you may have, you haven't really talked to. You haven't built anything with. Your children haven't seen you because you're out here trying to get the bag and trying to get followers. So what happens when this is the case? Is it a happy pocket full of money, or is it a happy pocket full of mess? Not really a happy pocket, because you can have a happy pocket because the numbers look good. So let me keep going. I'm not going to just use my words. I said you might not like me today because there's a lot of copycatting out here. There's a lot of intellectual theft. And guess what? You can't build on that. That's a shaky foundation. And so you see somebody else who got the bag, who owns a spa, who is a nurse, because those are people that I've been working with. You see somebody else that's done it. And so, yes, we should be teachable, coachable, and trainable. But what is your intention? When your intention comes from lack and survival mode, you are building and creating in lack or survival mode. And that applies to your love, sex, and money. It is not just for money. We're talking about energy, and we are energetic beings. So I want to challenge you. Be careful about what you are allowing to come into your vessel and what you are regurgitating and throwing up based off of out of fear, out of threat, out of manipulation, out of coercion, or whatever the case may be that's happening in the atmosphere right now. And I understand many of us, let me stay focused. So the ability, he talks about the ability to experience joy. And so I hope somebody's asking, can you experience joy in a fearful climate like this, where we now are afraid to be in proximity to one another, where people have not seen their mothers, fathers, family members, where they're hiring influencers to rat on you? Oh God, let me stay focused right now, okay? Because when we're talking about abundance and we're talking about saving money, we're talking about giving money, offering charity, and building happy relationships. Happy Pocket Full of Money breaks it down like this. The first M that we're going to use is for money today. I teach this in another training, a different way, the baseline of what money is, but I don't want to go into that right now, because if you're in the book club, you're already getting the breakdown of this. And if you haven't gotten the book, go on Amazon, get it today. We're going to talk about the prosperity of purpose next week, because it's going to be supported by what we're reading. Now, check this out. The first thing is how to use an internal mantra to build wealth consciousness. So I want to give you some game today, how to build wealth from an internal build a mantra from an internal wealth consciousness. Okay. So some of us have mantras, but they just aren't positive. Some of us have mantras, but they are the latest report from CNN. Some of us have mantras, but the mantras come from mess, foolishness, worry, doubt, and your own internal story that you never got handled. So whatever you haven't gotten handled when it comes to your money, your household, your love, and your sex, it will follow you. And so there are too many people out here in these streets who are voices. They got a microphone. Everybody's teaching a class, but ain't never studied how to build curriculum or differentiated learning or how to do backwards mapping. There is a certain type of system when it comes to how you build something rather than just copycatting. Now, because we need to talk about getting serious. We need to talk about quit playing out here in these streets. Because universal principles are what's going to sustain us, not just your religion, because your religion is built on universal laws. But if you don't know universal law, if you don't know metaphysics, then get into this book, because it will help you understand the foundation. And the first thing that he talks about is your mantra for wealth consciousness. Now, let me tell you something about mantras. I can say money comes to me easily, effortlessly, and under grace. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have ... You can do all of that. But if you inside do not have the belief, this is scripture. Let me tie this is Reverend Latanya talking now. This is the scripture. Unto you as you believe. You hear me? Unto you as you believe. So if you believe in fear, if you believe that you can't trust people, if you believe that your immune system is compromised, whatever the case may be, then it is. It is. You get to be right about that. Now, the question that Happy Pocket Full of Money asks is, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Do you want to be free? Do you want to be whole? Because some of us make permanent decisions in temporary situations. This thing that we're going through now in the collective will pass. Old paradigms are falling so that new paradigms can be created. But what I want to ask you today is, are you a paradigm shifter, or are you a paradigm gatekeeper? Because some of us are keeping the gate for mess and for nonsense, and it has nothing to do with love. And some of you talk Jesus talk, but when it comes, but what would Jesus do in a situation where people are telling you to disown people and to keep and to separate yourself? What about holding the high watch? Can you hold the high watch? Not if you can't hold it for anybody else, can you hold the high watch for yourself? Now, if you're watching on Instagram, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I promised that I was going to keep this very short on Instagram because I want you all to come and join me on my YouTube channel, Rebirth by LaTanya Taylor, so that you can get the full thing there. And then I want you to look at the details of Rebirth 360. Text Rebirth 360 to 844-601-0700. The link is also at LaTanyaTaylor.com. And then you text Rebirth 360 to get this Shift Everything preview gift so that you can get into the Shift Everything 21-day process that's coming up, where I'm going to do this thing live. It only takes about 21 days for you to shift everything, because you are the domino. And the domino that Happy Pocket Full of Money talks about is mantra. So I love you all on Instagram. There's nothing you can do about it. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, join me on these other places, my loves. Okay, so let's talk about this mantra real quick. Many of us know affirmations, right? But we do not oftentimes do denials. This is the game. This is the real game. You know how to do affirmations, but we don't do denials. What do you mean, LaTanya? We don't do denials. So glad you asked. If you're not in Rebirth Woman, I'm going to release Facebook here. And now we're going to go into our exclusive tribe, and I want you to join my YouTube channel. Go to LaTanyaTaylor.com to do that. Okay. So what I want to invite you to consider, my loves, is denials. What are denials? Did you all attend when I said on when I did the activation the other day? When did I do the activation? On 8/8 in Clubhouse, I did the activation. In the activation, one of the things that we did was clear. A denial is what a denial does to the mindset is when something is happening, instead of denying it, use and leverage the tool of denial, which means that you would make a statement of, let's just say, you lost your job, and you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so you simply acknowledge it. You acknowledge the fear. I am afraid for my livelihood right now. You acknowledge it. I'm so worried that I'm not going to have what I need. Some of us stay there. So we never shift, and we never continue to shift because we stay in the denial. Or we pray the prayer, say the affirmation, and then we get up from the affirmation and cancel it out with the worry. Let me tell you how that's happening in our communities right now. You all are praying women. You all are women of faith, many of you. You all are leaders in your own right, whether you are still working a 9-to-5 or whether you own a business. You're one of the new millionaires. You're one of the flossers. You have evidence in some way of your worth. If you don't have evidence of your worth, get it, because that is still the work of getting in position for a happy pocket full of money instead of happy pocket full of mess. And so when you look at doing an affirmation, you clear away the things that you already say to yourself. So one of the things that we do is we pray, but then we get up and doubt, or we get up and attach to negative consciousness, negative talk. This is why the virus of the mind is sorry. The virus of the mind is real. It's more real than anything that has ever been reported by the CDC. The virus of the mind. So we cancel out our prayers with what we do after we get up from the prayer. But you can take that and make a more conscious effort to acknowledge your mess. Right? And then build your mantra. Now, how do you build your mantra? One of the ways that I recommend for beginners is to build your mantra with I am. Now, what happens when you build a mantra with I am for what it is that you want, but you don't believe it? Well, that's a good question. So glad you asked. You build your mantra on when you don't believe it. You oftentimes that means that you're focused on the outcome or the thing rather than the truth. This is why you want to learn universal truths. Who are you in the realm of universal truth? Who are you and what are you trying to create that's in alignment with your purpose, with your calling, with your unique gift, with the way that you're called to deliver it? Purpose is going to prevail in this season because it's attractive to prosperity when you are happy. And there's too many people that we are admiring, salivating over, even if it's me, that literally are successful on the outside and feeling insignificant on the inside. I'm pausing so you can take that in. We did an entire show on Fix My Life for women who were successful, highly successful, but suffering in the area of love and femininity or their households and their families. Because success does attract other low vibrational energies where people want to just take from you. But if you're already in the mindset of a taker, you haven't had. So when you have grown up in poverty, in survival and struggle or any of that, it doesn't just go away until you send it away. And then when you send it away, the universe abhors a void. And literally, I could just teach more on that the universe abhors a void. What does that mean, LaTanya? So glad that you asked. You all know that there have been situations where it looks like there was nothing, and out of nothing, something was born. Something happened, something shift. That's why faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Not because you need to be faithful in believing in a doctrine, in dogma, or faithful in believing on being saved or rescued. We're in a season and in a period where we are going to have to rescue ourselves. And how do you feel about that? There will be some who will not. There are some people who are invested in the plantation consciousness. There are some people who are invested in being a ward of the state, where they have to tell you how to parent, how to marry, how to take care of your health. There are some people who are gatekeepers. that look like you. So don't even build it on this consciousness of just because we Black. I don't call myself Black, by the way. I call myself indigenous. And that's a whole nother teaching and a whole nother conversation. But I'm just laying the point of the first chapter when he talks about mantra. So why am I doing this? Happy Pocket Full of Money, because I want to invite you to shift everything. I put in the description the link if you have not connected to the Shift Everything preview. The Shift Everything preview is literally built off of this space in Rebirth Woman. Every year we have done some process towards the end of the year to prepare for our next year and for our vision. Well, because we just came out of this 8/8 gateway, we're getting ready for another full moon in Aquarius. I'm strongly suggesting and advising that we get in position to prosper, to win, to self-govern, to heal, to grow, to have a happy pocket full of money, no matter what is happening in the world. Now, there are going to be some resources that I will start sharing in Rebirth exclusive because you all have been inboxing me for it. And I will be sharing and putting some protocols that you can have in place for your family to stay safe. And there are people who are sharing amazing information when it comes, and I'm not talking about, you have enough information and enough noise out there about medical safety. I'm talking about mental. I'm talking about your home and your environment. But first, if you don't believe that I war not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and high places, many of us war not with flesh and blood, but with principalities in high places. The principalities in high places are not, I'm not here to talk about the corporation called the United States. I'm not here talking about that. I'm talking about the high places of our mind that is being bombarded and under attack right now. And we need to have spaces with like minds where we can go, where we can dwell, where we can share, where we can support one another. Because if you ever do the research on thriving communities, I'm going to close with this. Check this out. Close with this. Check this out. Close with this. Check this out. When I talk about mantra and we talk about narratives and we're talking about new paradigms, most of the time we like to talk about the Middle Passage and the slave story. And therefore we are unconsciously sometimes participating in a slave mentality, even when we have degrees and 6 figures or 7 figures or in the house, in the car, and all of that stuff, right? Those are all things to make us more docile and complacent oftentimes, because anybody who's an entrepreneur and had to build a business from the bricks, you know that when you have to build something, that there's a certain thing that happens inside of you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a rites of passage. But when we talk, and a good example in terms of the collective, even when we look at Black history, it is only talking oftentimes about the struggle and not about the times of our communities that thrived. Black Wall Street was not the only place where there was economic fortitude and community and economic empowerment. There were communities in Miami, Florida. What we know as South Beach was once owned by a Black man. There are places right here in Georgia where there was a thriving community where now Lake Lanier sits on. They were drowned. And that's why when people go to Lake Lanier now, they say that it's haunted. There were thriving communities what we now consider Central Park in New York City. We only focus on the crucifixion. Oh my God. But what happens when you lay down your cross and you rise again? I want to invite the people who are ready to rise again in your bloodline, in your generation. Are you ready to rise again? And even if you don't have a reference point for wealth in your family, it was there. And even if you don't think, no matter how horrific, even if your great-great-grandmother was wicked or she was broken, before her, there's a story where somebody thrived and lived well. You have to look, if we are going to create what we want, we have to look for it. And so mantra, sometimes that can help, the mantra and the prayers that we pray. Now, I said I was going to close on this, but since I brought up prayer, if you're still begging, pleading, moaning, go to Rebirth University and download. I think they might be $10. Can you hear me now? And then there is the master class on affirmative prayer. You got to start somewhere. And even if you have to start over and you know this, there's somebody who's saying, I already know this. There's somebody who's a metaphysician. There's somebody who's a Reiki practitioner. There's somebody who's a massage therapist. There's somebody who is an astrologer. But if you know it, act like you know it then, right? Because that's the season that we're in. And so I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've shared where you can reach out to me. And I do want you to shift everything. I did not put this in the banner, but I do want you to know that you can, the offer is right here. I want you to get the preview. It's free. I'm not asking you to do anything. If I come in and to share, that's another thing. The let me just get something for nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. It requires an investment of your time, your money, or your commitment to grow, to heal, to investigate, to uncover, to attract, to become a magnet to what it is that you desire, so that you won't have to be out here in these streets looking like you winning, looking like you flossing, looking like you getting the bag. But then when crisis comes, and what do? How are we present for one another? We need the energy of love, and to believe that there is something good that's going to come out of this, even as souls surrender their bodies. Are you praying prayers of despair, or are you going higher to the upper room of your own mind? Now, if there are no questions, comments, are there any questions? Was this good for you? I'm going to check the comments real quick to see if there were any questions. And then I'm going to let you go. Any questions, comments, any favorite frames that you heard? Let me see. Someone said, yes, where I'm from, most of the people own and still own their land, farm, and ate well. Listen, what we call oppression and stuff, like when it comes to farmland, I come from sharecroppers. Do y'all really know the story of sharecropping? There's empowerment in that story before the disempowerment came. We own this very land that we call America. All of us were not imported here. Some of us are indigenous to this land. So that means your ancestors' blood, sweat, tears, and their mantras and their songs and the things that they prayed can be activated and joined on with the words that come out of your mouth starting today. We could shift everything if you just agreed that you will not join the ugliness that is out here and the opinionated foolishness that's happening based off of fear? Can you hold people higher in love, whether you receive this or you haven't received this? Can you can you do that for your own mental health? So thank you for the person who said agreement. Can we touch and agree? Can we touch and agree? Put a hand in the comments. Can we touch and agree? We're going higher. You're going to get the book. Can we touch and agree? Now, can I put my music back on? Listen, we're going to close out with a little fun. Go higher. This is the cellular upgrade. Hey. Come on, I see the comments. Come on. Touch and agree. I am the light. I've lost people too this year through this season. My heart gets heavy. The highest frequency. You need to be having music that's going to take you higher. Scents, aromas, crystals, colors, conversations that take you higher to the higher frequency. I love unity is what she said. I welcome all of the beautiful things that God has in store for me. Okay? Ashe, ashe, ashe. So this was just a quickie. Get the book. Let's do it again next week. We're getting ready to announce this live 21-day process to shift everything. You ready? I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. If you want to connect with me, go to LaTonyaTaylor.com. Ciao.